Good morning, class. The process in which the ocean's pH is decreasing in the ocean is referred to as ocean acidification. This is mostly caused by the oceans absorbing large amounts of CO2 from the atmosphere, and when hydrated, it becomes a weak acid. Yes, Kayla?
But Miss Smeaton, what causes it?
Well, the ocean is able to absorb so much of it due to the atmosphere's CO2 levels increasing so much within the last century. This is caused for a handful of reasons, from fossil fuels and deforestation. What are you drawing, Harvey?
Huh?
Oh yeah, Harvey, that's a great depiction of ocean acidification.
Thanks, but when did it
It is
stop?
believed that ocean acidification started approximately 200 years ago at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. See, before the Industrial Revolution, the concentrate in the atmosphere of CO2 was 172 to 300 parts per million per volume. But then, measured again in 2009, it was at 387 parts per million per volume. Now, see, the levels of CO2 in the ocean were initially not a huge concern due to global warming getting most of the researchers' attention. But now that it is believed that the ocean has absorbed 1/3 of the CO2 emissions that we have produced, it has become much higher of a concern. Yes, Kayla?
But how does it work?
Well, CO2 affects the ocean's pH by initially reacting with the surface water to form carbonic acid. And then it loses protons to the water to form bicarbonate HCO3 and carbonate CO3-2-. This process has resulted in the pH of the oceans to decrease from 8.2 to 8.1 in the last 200 years.
So what does this mean for sea life?
So far, many conclusive results are not yet possible due to the experiments not being done for a long enough period of time. However, the results of a lowered pH on calcification, photosynthesis, and nitrification have all come back with very similar results in both experiment and lab tests.
Yes, Kayla. What are the results of photosynthesis?
Due to CO2 being so tiny, it is able to float into the membrane of the cell as well as out of it. For this reason, photosynthesis cells are not fully able to get a higher concentration of CO2. So for this reason, it is believed that an increase of CO2 on the seawater level of the oceans will actually help animals and organisms that use photosynthesis. Yes, Kayla?
What are the results from nitrification, though?
Well, actually, the process of marine nitrification has extremely drastic results. At a pH of 7, it decreases by 50%, and at a pH of 6.5, it decreases by 90%. And due to nitrification playing such a big role in the nitrogen cycle, which in turn plays a big role in the phosphorus, oxygen, and carbon cycles, ocean acidification could resultingly cause effects on all of these elements. Yes, Harvey?
So what was the results for calcification?
Well, calcification is probably the greatest reason for concern with ocean acidification, due to most shells and skeletons being made from CaCO3. For this reason, CaCO3 being participated is actually facilitated by a high pH. So in experiments with low pH for most planktonic organisms that calcify, the calcifying agents has decreased. This result is also seen in many corals, which are responsible for a huge level of biodiversity in oceans. Yes, Kayla?
What about the fish?
Well, there have been a couple of experiments on fish in lower pH conditions, but due to them having buffering agents in their gills, as well as other ways as to keep their pH levels maintained, it appears that a lower pH doesn't actually affect them that much. Yes, Kayla?
But what's the total effect of ocean acidification?
Well, due to the biodiversity of the ocean being so vast, it's hard to say for sure what ocean acidification will actually do. But it is suggested that the biodiversity will decrease. And also that the animal's highest chance of survival would be if they had a high metabolism, some sort of buffering agent for multiple chemical stresses, as well as a good circulatory system, either a light skeleton or something preferably made of something other than CaCO3. And it looks like that's all the time we have today, class, so enjoy your evening and we'll see you all tomorrow.